So, with how popular Scream 6 became, it's inevitable that we're going to get to Scream 7 at some point. Maybe it will be announced this year and premiere next year, or it may take a little while. It may not be like with Scream 6 where it came out the following year. So, with that being said, I thought I'd throw out some fun ideas here and there to talk about, like, what could you do for Scream 6? Like, I mean, not Scream 6, Scream 7. Like, what ideas could you do with Scream 7? Obviously, it's been the most successful of these new... Well, one of the more successful requels. Yes, I am still harping on the utter idiocy that was... I'm still like on the utter idiocy that was Halloween Ends. So the whole point of this video is to be like, let's not do Halloween Ends again. It would be really nice not to do Halloween Ends for over again, and I don't think we will go that route. I really don't believe it will go that route in any way, shape, or form. Now, could it still go bad? Yeah, there's always the chance it could go horribly, horribly wrong. But in this video, I'm going to talk about, like, some ideas for what you could do with Scream 7 and how you could maybe avoid, disaster. Like, is there a chance you could avoid disaster in any way, shape, or form? So, let's get into it. Starting off with, I think it's vital that you bring Neve Campbell back. Now, we don't know if this will be the end of the trilogy. We don't know if this will be the end of a trilogy or the end of the franchise. I doubt it. I sincerely doubt it'll be the end of the franchise. Could it be the end of this trilogy? There's also a possibility of that, but we don't know. That's the thing, is that this franchise can, has the ability to go anywhere. I will say, though, that Scream 5 and 6 have that tendency to play it safe towards the third act, and I do think they need to fix that. Like I said before, Scream 6 was good, but the problem was I already figured out who the killers were. So, and Scream 5, I figured it out halfway through, and the 6, I was like, well, alright, that's killer. So that was kind of a problem. So here's what, first and foremost, like, before I'll get to that in a moment. Scream 7 needs Neve Campbell. I think, like, it does need Neve Campbell, and I will say that I would not be opposed to her being killed off. Or, at the very least, Gale Weathers. I do think either Gale or Sidney need to die in the next one, like Dewey did. I do feel like that they played a little too safe with Gale. I'm going to spoil... This is a spoiler right here. Gale does live, and that's the other thing, is that there are some characters where I'm like, okay, there's no fucking way you could have lived through that. There is literally no way you could have survived that. There's a few like, people get stabbed, and it's like, there's no way you could have lived through that. There's one character, one of the core four, as they call themselves, who gets, just annihilated by a knife, just absolutely wrecked by just getting stabbed the shit out of. And what happens is that he still survives. Like, he gets stabbed multiple times, and I'm like, and then it's revealed, oh, he's still alive, and I'm like, that's a little bullshit. Also, with Gale living, I was like, oh, that'd have been interesting if we did kill off Gale. Like, each movie is like a piece of the past dying. Like, that would have been an interesting take, is like, first Dewey died, then Gale died, and then finally it ends with Sidney, all of her friends are gone, it's time to go out in a blaze of glory. So that would be, I think, would be a really neat idea to really play with, is the fact of we're killing the past. So that could be I think that could be, like, it's a ballsy move, and I do think that would split the fandom, but I think that's a direction that needs to happen, is, to quote Kylo Ren, let the past die. Kill it if you have to. So, and I do think, like, it is time to let the past die, so I think it is, like, it is time to, or at the very least, I'll meet you halfway. Either Sydney or Gale die. Like, you could have one die and one survives. You could still have that. Like, I think that's also a chance of it. Also, you could always have that argument of, well, do you have Gale or Sydney be the killer? I think we've moved well past that. I do think we have moved well past, like, that would just be dumb now. The best time you could have had Sydney or Gale as the killer would have been either Scream 3 or 4. 5, maybe. But we've now moved past that of having, you know, Gale or Sydney be the killer, be the Ghostface killer in these movies. Like, we have moved well past that at this point, and now would just be stupid. Like, at Scream 7, it would be, like I said, it'd be really dumb. The best thing you can do is either have them live or one or both die. That's your only options now. Making them the killer and then dying is just I just feel like would not work. Also, let's cycle back to what I was saying of making an obvious killer. These past two movies, like, have had the flaw of, yeah, the killer is a little too obvious. The killer is a little too obvious. I think it's time to have I like this new era of aggressive ghost faces. I really do love these more violent, more just, there's no rules to these ghost faces, except there are. But I would love to have a ghost face that is just not, like, bound to these movie rules. Like, it's just taking... Like, I would love nothing more than to it be kind of like a Michael... like, okay, this is going to be a little weird. I would kind of like this to be a Michael Myers kind of thing, where someone just takes on the Ghostface moniker and proceeds... It's not even someone they know. Like, it's just someone... It's some random person that you don't know. Like, maybe they'll hint at someone, like it's just some person in the background. Kind of like how they did, they brought up John Kramer, like, just as a little background thing, and then the big, you know, jigsaw reveal at the end. Maybe do something like that. But maybe just have it be just someone who's just a monster, or just have Ghostface just be someone, and at the end, he's just gone. Like, I would kind of like that. I would kind of like to see a Ghostface killer as just Ghostface. Like, yeah, you don't know who it is. He's not playing by any rules. He's just adapting some of the rules, but he's not, like, doing the whole third act, like, I'm doing this out of revenge and killing out of that. No. It's just some guy who got really into it, really inspired by all the past 7 killings, and is just taking on that moniker, and he just goes. Like, he just, damn it. Like, that would be such a terrifying ending of just, the guy got away. He won. Like, this Ghostface won, and he got away. Like, and you're left with so many questions of, who is it? What do they do? I think that would be really terrifying. As for another way they could go the Ghostface route, because they do hint at a little more, is that I think I also would not be opposed to having Sam be Ghostface. I would not have her be. I would not be opposed as because you've been building, like, you've definitely, like, left little crumbs here and there that since she is the daughter of Billy Loomis. Sam is the daughter of Billy Loomis. You could definitely play with that angle. You can definitely play with that angle of, yeah, this is the daughter of Billy Loomis, and especially after this movie, they have really played with the idea of just her slowly slipping into madness every time she kills someone. Like, especially after she takes out one of the killers, just slicing the shit out of him. Yeah. And also they give that little hint of, is that darkness still in her? Yeah. And they have toyed with the idea a few times of, yeah, she could snap anytime, and I would not be opposed to her having just a full-on snap and going on a killing spree. I also think cycling back to the whole, you know, people can't, you know, no one is safe. I kind of want one of the not all of them or two, just one member of the core 4. Maybe not one of the Meeks twins needs to go. I felt like it was kind of a good place to have, like, as a final fuck you to the sisters, because I really feel like it's not the core 4, It's more about the sisters. While I do like the characters, I do like all four of them. Don't get me wrong. I do feel like there needs to be stakes in Scream 7. One of the core four, the stakes were raised because Randy got killed. Remember, Randy got his ass killed in Scream 2 as a point to raise the stakes. So you need to do that again with that. I think you need to do that. I also would not be opposed if this franchise brought out a spin-off and really play with the idea. Like, I would not be opposed to a Scream spin-off movie and really play with the whole rules for a spin-off film, because we don't really do that in a horror film of a horror spin-off. I don't think we ever get a horror. There's a few examples, but I would love to, because Scream always plays with movie stuff. So wouldn't it be fun to have Scream 6.5 or 7.5 and play with in a new cast? You can really, that's where I really think you can do the rando killer, like the nameless Ghostface. If you don't want to feel daring enough in your movie and want to have a killer with a plot, whether it be Sam or someone else, I think what you need to do is, if you don't want to go that route for the nameless Ghostface and just be like, oh, who's the killer? I think that's where you can really play with it, is because spin-offs don't have any rules. You're a bunch of side characters that are tangentially connected to the main plot. You're all cannon fodder. And the Ghostface in here, you can do the nameless Ghostface that's just not playing by any rules because this is a spin-off. It doesn't have to play by movie rules because none of you are main characters. So yeah. So those are just a few ideas I had for a 7th Scream movie, but you guys tell me in the comments below. What would you guys do or would like to see in Scream 7? Just comment below, let me know. Once again, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.